Good afternoon and happy Sunday. I hope you had a great weekend. It's the 7th of June, 2026. We've just opened the Globex trading session for the week. This is risk neutral trading. This is my virtual online trading journal. This is the Globex session. Typically, it's a new thing I started last week. Typically, I do my session. My stream is every trading day from 8 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time until 1500, which is the cash close. And we're opening out of the box, and we've dumped them 10 handles already. So I guess the sell-off from Friday's likely to continue here. A couple of words about the stream. I stream live, trade only vetted setups, which I have proven statistically to have a positive expectancy. I enter those trades, anticipate and enter those setups and trades here on Bookmap. However, I am not licensed, nor do I intend for this to be trade or financial advice. There's a disclaimer in the description. But it's my trading journal, so it wouldn't be much of a trading journal if I didn't have trades, and and everything is live in real time here. There's never, ever, ever a recording or let's look at the replay or some of that stuff, which happens so frequently. So, yeah, I'm not funded or monetized by Bookmap or anyone. This is my trading journal. So the idea here is that everything on these screens, this is IRT and this is Bookmap, are captured on my video, and my voiceover provides insight as to what I was thinking. Now, I'm not too sure how long these Globex ones are going to last, because this is an experiment to see if there's any interesting opportunities in the opening range trades for the Globex and the Asians Opens. So this is about 4 hours long. Goes till about 2000 here, or 8 o'clock, 3 hours. So yeah, here we are. This is the open. Let's look at the setups that we have here. This is IRT. It's my charting package. The data's not running. That's not the very best thing in the world. There we go. So there we go. I don't know why that wasn't running, but there we'll update all of the download and update all the ranges here in a minute. There we go. The thing with IRT is, the first thing that's important to note, you can see in the header of any of these windows is the instrument, the chart type, the periodicity, and the session. So you always know that. You can also see a watermark on a few of these. This is my micro tab. So this is the micro ES, NQ, and the micro composite chart for the micro E-mini, ES. This is the market profile. You see what happened on Friday, and here we are. So I'll open these up a little bit, I think. Oh, well. Starting with a higher time frame, this is the micro composite chart. So now this is not going to reflect anything for this Globex session, because it is, as I said, this is the RTH session only. And the way this chart works is each one of these candles is an RTH or session complete. One day, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. Wherever price overlaps, I draw the volume profile around them, and that generates these high and low volume nodes, which are represented by the red and green lines there. And those values push to Bookmap. So do the session prices. There's also a tab for the minis, same idea. And there we go. So we're off to our experiment. Now, the first thing I do, first of all, this is Bookmap. And just to quickly run down what we have going on over here. This is the, starting right to the left column, the micro composite column, which is where I manually enter, all-time high and low, that kind of thing. That gap has been filled. These are the volume nodes that are pushed from Bookmap, from IRT. This is the full session volume profile, which just started plotting now. It will continue through 1600, tomorrow afternoon. This is the RTH volume profile and delta, which will reset this morning or tomorrow morning at 8:30 when the RTH session starts. And this is the statistics column, which we'll deal with in the morning. First, we in the pre-market, the period between 8 and 8:30, when I set up the software and determine the statistics for the associated price levels, etc. And these are the session prices. Now, notice that on Bookmap, there's no indicators, nor is there any on my IRT. There are a POC for both full session and RTH, which is nothing more than the price at which the most contracts have traded so far in the session. So 72.50, the most contracts are 418, and that's the price. The minute one of these prices has 419, that yellow line is going to move there. Mid, the RTH, Globex, VWAP, and there will be, tomorrow morning starting at 8:30, there will be an RTH VWAP. Now, the first thing I do is put on a little deal over here I affectionately call Blue Boy. And that is not in the right place, I don't think, is it? Let's get it exactly right, shall we? Wait a minute here. It's just a vertical line, as you can see. And it is on the first print of each session. And why do I do that? I can simply a visual cue for me. When I look left and see Blue Boy, I know that the entire session is in view because this is current active data. This is now, and that was the first print. So there we go. And that's how we'll continue. Now, what we're going to watch for tonight is the opening range and breakout statistics for this current session, which is the Globex, I call it, and then Asia will be the next one. So this is the low, and this is the high. The low was put in first, right? Because here's Blue Boy. There's the first print. So the low was put in before the high. The opening range low was in before the opening range high. And give this a little bit of time to settle out, and then I'll put a vertical line at the top and the bottom. I don't have proper stuff pushing from IRT over there, but I can do that later. This, as I said, this is an experiment. I'm not real sure what's going on with that, but no, look at that. This is the Globex so far. Crazy. And this doesn't look right. Look at that time frame is all screwy. Let's do something here. Let's change this session back and forth. That usually cures a multitude of problems. See what that looks like. Oh, okay. It wants to be that way. Let it. Now, I'm going to get over here to the to my one of my strategies, which is tracking this. So here we have current price. There's the low and there's the high. Boop, boop. So we'll see if this materializes in any kind of a meaningful opportunity. Another thing I'm starting to notice, or thinking about, having done this for a week now, maybe a different instrument has more volatility, NQ, for example. That'll be the next thing to check. Pick up some music for the event here. Well, Trump's been all over Truth Social already. Look at this. Look at this crap about Netanyahu. I call the shots, he doesn't. Oh boy. He's been all over it already. So I guess we need to be careful about all of that. Okay, here we go. Good afternoon, whoever you are, wherever you are. Drop something in the chat. That's a big benefit here. This is my virtual trading journal, but it is very definitely not my way or the highway, nor is it meant to be. This is a collaboration, and definitely that is the purpose. So got no liquidity showing up here, but that's to be expected. Look at how light the book is. So they're pushing him up. I guess they like it when he rattles his sword. Or whatever else it is that's rattling. Yeah, so here we are in Bookmap. We're tracking the opening range breakout, and we'll go look at the data behind that. Now that everything seems to be okie dokie. Let's look at the data behind this. First thing we're going to look at is the opening range. This is edge fill. I'm trying to lean on this tool to lighten up my poor programming skills that I have to use otherwise in IRT. Let me explain that. For me to do a back test and proper data in IRT, I've got to code a system. This is a trading system for the initial balance high. Let's get rid of all of that crap. Now, I'm not a good, I am certainly not a young code wizard, so this was a struggle for me to get done, and it takes me some time. Comes out with good data, good reports, good statistical information, including expectancy and consecutive drawdown, consecutive winners, average or expected. What am I seeing over here? MFE and MEA, adversion, and good statistics in the back testing, and I'm able to capture that, and I'm able to plot those things and come out with the back test. But what I'm trying to do now to eliminate that work on my end is to lean on the abilities that are being developed here in Edgeville. So to cut to the quick chase on this opening range trade, we had a 60-minute opening range, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. in UTC 9, which means it is our time now in the Monday morning, because this only looks back at Monday through Friday, right? So if we're going to look at if we're going to look at Asia Globex, we need to be looking at this session. That's what I've determined so far. And here we have the opening range by rejection report, which is pretty important. And the way it works is that if the high is formed first, which it was not, we know it was the low. And we can tell that by just common sense. Here is the entire session. Remember Blue Boy over here? There's the low. Here was the IB high, and now the IB high is pushed up to here. So the IB low, opening range low is put in first. Opening range high is up here. And this is still going to go on. It's only been going for 15 minutes. It has an hour. But the only way that can change is if price comes down and puts in a new low. Then the opening range high will be first and low will be second. And this, if you got on this long over here, which I don't see any way to do that unless we shorten up the opening range breakout, that would be great, right? Rear view mirror. The all wonderful skill of the rear view mirror trading. So, back to Edgeville. So, the opening range breakout, low was formed first. What are our probabilities? Well, there's a 38% probability we'll take that there'll be a breakout of the opening range high, and a 7% probability that there will be a breakout of the opening range low first. You see the customization right here? Wrong day, Jose. Let's look at Monday. There we go. 14% on Monday, 7% on Tuesday. I mean of high and low. This is on Monday. All days, all zones, by wick, Monday. Okay, and this range. This is what I believe to be the correct setup here for Edgeville. These are pretty dismal pretty dismal probabilities and statistics, right? Let's look at the next thing that happens. Now, if you subscribe to Edgeville, you get automatically access to all these indicators that they create for TradingView. And there's a lot of them, and I don't know what they are, but if you look at invite only, all these indicators here are provided by Edgeville for TradingView. So Oh, I just saw some orb ones down there that I haven't used really. Anyway, so what I use here are sessions, and I have now activated the opening range for the Asia session. Let's hope this is all correct. I think so. And here's the stats. It's forming. It's 38 points wide. That's significant for this period of time. And I was looking at some history, right? So here's that big drop during Friday. And here we are right now, building the opening range and see where this takes us. You can see that the opening range low was put in first, and there's the high. These levels that you see are the percentages of the zone. So this is 25 from top, 50, 25 from the bottom, or if you want to go 25, 50, 75, up to you. I'd never used Trading View before, and I gotta say it's so handy compared to IRT. And IRT is a good professional platform, but coding some of this stuff up is like new indicators and jumping around is not nearly as quick or painless as it is, since it appears to be on Trading View. And like I said before, this is just an experiment here to determine whether I have interesting opportunities for opening range breakout trades in the Globex and then in Asia. So let's slap a line on here now. Let's put the opening range low. There we go. And the high, let's see what they keep doing with it. So far we've got the low in first, right? Oop. And you can see it again here. The low, and there's the high. Now this tab here is essentially what we're looking at on Trading View, in that this is the opening print, this is the low, this is the high. It does not draw the zones here. It draws them in the IB for the RTH session. I haven't got those coded. That's what I mean about a pain in the butt here. I've got to code these individual indicators. For this thing. They would be here. Yeah, there are the zones, right? There's a breakout, there was no trigger or whatever. Always, Jesus, I don't know when. So be careful. Trump's burning up the airways here, and there's a bunch of stuff going on with Netanyahu and the Iranian story. So caution, risk. And that's the only point. It's not no political comment whatsoever. It's just risk. And by that I mean risk to our auction. You know, some random thing comes out on Truth Social and the market flies up 20 handles or 50 handles, and you're sitting there positioned the other way without a bracket order on or something. You had yourself a bad day. A real bad day. Now let's see how. Let's slap a high on it and see what happens here. Now, in the typical RTA session, obviously, if we're plotting the initial balance high and low and they're green and all those things. But for this exercise here, before I go create a bunch of stuff and push it across the book map and on and on and on, I'm going to make sure that it's something I'm going to continue with, right? So let's see, the stream is streaming. It looks like, I think the music should be going. I can't hear it because I have no speakers here on my trade desk, but if I have to put on a headset. But if any comments, be sure and like, subscribe, and drop something in the chat. That's really important. That's really that is really big help. Eyes are screwy. Did about an 8-mile excursion today, 8.5 or something. I'm a little bit well, it's not responding. I don't know what's going on. It's awake now, I guess. Oh, watch this. If you want to see something funny, watch the naked volume points of control. Every one of these red lines is a naked volume point of control from a previous RTH session. Jesus, no? Don't you imagine that that's going to come to a screeching halt here pretty quick? Like this was Friday. The market is due for a correction. It's been going up on irrational exuberance, and yeah. Here we have a VPOC migration. However, if you're a T-labber, you've heard of that one before. I have never been able to figure out how to trade it very well, but anyway. In anticipation of a trade now in this opening range breakout, I'm going to explain a couple things too. Trade with Bookmap, you need to activate the trade control panel by selecting an account. I'm trading in order to de-risk from my live AMP account. I've picked up these 5 Lucid evaluations because that way I can trade typically, but reduce or de-risk from the actual trade, my actual live account. So these are live and real data and rhythmic and all that, but if you understand the whole evaluation process, then this is, I can do all these experiments with the hedging as a form of trade management and stuff. Managing my risk, reducing my risk every way that I can, and still have meaningful trades and be able to get profit, payouts or whatever you want to call them, revenue, P&L. So click that. Now, the minute this is green, you got to be real careful about this column right here, and I want to point out something to you. You see how the mouse is a dollar sign? That means that if you click right there right now, if you left click or left click, you have a long order on, whether you wanted to or not. Left click, it will be a limit order, so not as big a problem. Now watch the mouse. Watch that dollar sign. You see that I'm hovering clear over the session prices? If I click now and wanted to move those session prices up or down to adjust them, that would be an order. And that happened to me on Friday. Now, what I'm going to try to do to make sure I don't have that problem is, if I come over here from this side, you see how it doesn't change? Now I can go like this, like I normally do, and size them for 1 point, which is what I typically like right there. But that one, this happened, and I had a long on. I'm used to that because I do it. Well, it's not the first time, not very frequently. It's been months, I guess, but I am conditioned to immediately hit the the close and cancel up here. So it costs $30, but still, that's something to watch out for. This is a change in the new bookmap version. This is 7.7.0 build 16, I think. Let's look over here. Build 19, I'm sorry. Okay. In the older versions, you could deselect this as an active trading column. You could select DOM only or chart. Now that's not an option. And I wish there was a way to either apply a hotkey. In other words, control click over here and you could do something. I don't know. I don't like the fact that, Friday was a perfect example. I was over the price levels, and when I clicked to move it, it suddenly put in a price because it had come from this side and it had not changed back. So be aware. By the way, the columns here are the session prices, as I mentioned, and then this is the main column of a DOM, which is the level 2 of the resting liquidity of the book limit prices, and these are the prices. So be real careful of that. That's something to be careful of. Okay. All right, now that we can trade, now that the control panel is active, we got 5 micros for any kind of order we put over here. I'm going to implement the hedge trade management option, possibility, whatever you want to call it. And that goes like this. So here are the minis. So what I do is activate the column, pick the account, 1 mini. Okay, so in other words, the hedge function is used as a trade management option for a hard stop. Never trade without a stop, or in this case, the hedge. Never move your stop away from entry. Basic trade management, the 10 commandments. So the way this would work here, which is probably best described here, this is the basic setup. So let's imagine that we're going to enter a price right now at, what is it, 73.87. Okay, see where we are? So let's say we're going to enter at 73.87. And we're going to go short in this case because that's what's already set up. We're going to trade 5 micros. we're going to have a 3-tick or 3-point stop, and we're going to hedge it with 1 mini, and the ad size is 5 micros. So here's our entry. What's going on here? Not working right. Maybe I broke this. Hold on, let's make sure. That's going to be really irritating. Okay, so here we are. Here's 73.87. That's the entry. I was looking upside down. Price pulls back to our stop, which is 3,900. That's 3 points from 87. I mean 90, right? We are going to add another 5 micros, bringing our average micro price to 88.50, and we're going to short, well in this case go long, 1 mini. So as you I'm sure know, hopefully there's 10 micros to 1 mini, so this is the full hedge. Price can go anywhere it wants to go, and the absolute worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ticks. 1.5 is the most you're going to lose ever. You're not stopped out, but you have the time to let price come back the way you want it to, and then you take off the opposite leg, right? So that's the mechanics of the hedge concept. So we're set up to do that. I'm extremely my spidey sense is all hyper about this freaking column over here. And now we're just watching what happens. We got the low in first. We got the high up here. We have just crossed over, so we're approaching. We've got 20 minutes till the opening range is set. And what that looks like everywhere else is, this is our, there we have it. And here we have it. Now I'm really puzzled, to be honest with you. I've never seen such low statistics here. I'm wondering, I built this particular earlier today. First of all, let's verify something. Where is that? That's 1700 exactly. That's where it should be. Okay, this is 1700, which is 7 in the morning to 900. That gives it 2 hours, but we have a 1 hour for the IB. But just looking at these probabilities, I don't think there's nothing here that's of interest to me. I mean, think about it. A 14% probability and a 7% probability. What does that say? That says that today, we can look at this here. What am I doing here? Sorry about that. Let's go right over here. Standard report. So there's a 71% probability we're going to break out, break down, double break, no break. Makes no sense to me. This data makes no sense. I'm assuming that there's got to be something wrong with that. Okay, no, here we go. So there's a 40% probability that we will not break out of either one of these ranges, break the high or the low. This says 30%, 30%. If we look at the retracements, if we narrow down to there, which is where we were before, where I started, the rejection, once the low was put in first, there's a slight skew. 14% will break the high. A 7% probability will break the low, and the difference there means we're not going to break either one, right? Now, there's not a hell of a lot of options. There's not an awful lot of options here. There's one frequency for this data. This is looking at the, oh, God damn it. There we go. I'm sorry. I was experimenting with the MQs. The NQs earlier this afternoon, thinking about changing instruments. Let's look at the right one now. MES. Wow, come on, Alice. No, it's even worse. Look at this. So there's a 10% break on the high. There's no break. There's no occurrence of a breakout on the lows, according to this, for this session. And Monday and this and that and that and in no zone. Okay. I'm having a hard time believing that this is true, frankly. Let's do something here, because this will harken back to a situation that Stephen is not around today, but we identified something last Wednesday. And here we go. So now it is correct, because last Wednesday we identified that there was one break, but the data wasn't calling it right. So this confirms to me that I've got the session configured right now. So this means there's one instance of the opening range low was formed first and it was broken first, and that happened last Wednesday. And I can show you that chart, but on TradingView, if you'd like. Let's get back to today. Ooh, I just thought of something. Yeah. So actually, I'm not interested in looking at this opening range. I don't think there's any probability that it's going to be anything other than what we see here. And these are the retracements. Maybe. How could those be valid if there are no settings? There's no day customization here, which is something that needs to happen. I'm going to suggest that. Time frame, breakout criteria, time, but there is no day, which would be valid, I think, and important. Maybe they can't do that with the data, I don't know. What this indicates is let's look at 35 and 29. Easier to do here. Assuming that we break out the IB high first, there's a 31% probability that if the high is broken out, we'll retrace to the 25 level. 23% we retrace to the 50. We break out the high, after the IB's form, the OB's form, break the high. There's a 20, whatever percents I said that we retrace to the 25 line. 23% we retrace to the 50. So the thinking about that would be, well, we break out, we retrace. That's where you get long. Stop below, looking for the continuation. Is that right? I'm going to look at something here. I'm going to make sure I've got everything working right here. What have we got? 56 to 96. Yeah, that's about 40 points any way you look at it. That didn't look right to me, but absolutely. I trust this. I mean, this is kind of the gold standard for stuff I do. So if that says that there's 40 points there, I'm going to believe them. Just because I'm not confident with the coding necessarily here but you know, it's working fine, so okay. Never hurts to check though, does it? Welcome to the stream. Drop something in the chat. Who are you? Where are you? What's going on? This is my virtual trading journal where I only trade vetted setups that I have statistically verified myself to have edges, statistical edge or expectancy. And it is by no means a my way or the highway deal. This is what I'm doing now to develop my consistently profitable trading business. And any suggestions, comments, laughter, you know, I really appreciate it and welcomed. What I'm trying to do, and this is an experiment, this Globex stuff just started a week ago last Sunday. The idea is to identify if there are some potentially interesting opportunities in these opening range trades for the Globex and then into Asia. So it lasts about 2 and 3 hours. The typical risk neutral trading stream is every trading day from 8 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time through the entire cash market to 1500, so 7 hours. First 30 minutes is the setup of the software and you know, determine the statistics for the associated price levels, and take it from there. Take it from the open at 8:30. All trades, any trades, there are no other trades that are not live and recorded here on Bookmap. No replay, no look back, no rear view mirror, no any of that crap. All trades are live in real time. That's why sometimes there's no trades. Because if I anticipate a setup, which I've pre-identified to have an edge, if there's a trigger, then there's a trade. If there's not, there's not. It's not made up. That's why I'm so keen to develop more strategies and statistically verify more strategies so that I have, you know, it doesn't do you very good to have 1 or 2 strategies that have been vetted. It's like, you know, you're not much of a carpenter if you only got a hammer. You need a few more tools. Let's see, is everything working? Yep. Ooh, okay. I don't have speakers on my desk here, so if the music's too loud, no good, something different, let me know in the chat. I have to put my headset on, and I'm standing here all day with a headset on, so not going there. I think everything else is working right though, I hope. And this is the trading view version of this situation today. As I was pointing out, these indicators come with your Edgeful subscription. And I had not used TradingView, but I find it to be real convenient. These are Edgeful indicators, the sessions, the opening range breakout with the percentages. So that's why I use that. So let's think about these data though. These data don't exactly make me all warm and fuzzy, to be honest with you. This is the opening range breakout by day. So there's Monday, there's Tuesday, there's Wednesday, there's Thursday, and there's Friday. In this time zone, which I built custom right here. Typically it's just cash or London or New York, either way. This is the same as this. The difference is my time zone is Chicago or Central Standard Time. This is Eastern Standard Time, you know? Now, I could do Asia, I think. What I was doing was the daily, which was from 6 p.m. to 5 p.m. New York time. The problem is I don't want to know about data. I want to know for the Globex opening range, I'm only interested in those first 2 hours. I don't want to know the probability of the opening range high being taken out somewhere down the Asia section someplace. So that's why I've created this. Now, I'm not saying I'm a wizard with this. I'm just picking this back up, but that's where we are. Let me see here. By the way, happy Sunday. Hope you had a great weekend. So the IB low was put in place first. Here's Blue Boy, the opening print. IB low is right down there. Right. See if I can not do this again. Right there. I've marked them with these blue lines because I don't push the initial balance stuff to initial balance in my IRT charting, and my normal thinking is the RTH session high and low of the first 1 hour, so that wouldn't apply here. And here's the RTH high. Here's the Globex high. There we're talking about initial balance or opening range. I'll get it. Don't worry. I'm tired. It's been a long day. 4 hours, 3.5 hours, 8.5 mile journey here, and takes a lot out of an old man. Hope I haven't been jabbering on a mute here for a long time, but yeah, I probably have. So I've been doing a lot of studying here with the mouse clicking and zooming around on these time zones to do with, this is the Globex Chicago time for where we are now. And that is what we have for a Monday. My problem is, the reason I created this one was because I'm not interested in Monday Chicago time at 5 o'clock. That's tomorrow. That's not today. So that was the reason I created the other time zone. Maybe Sundays are just not a happening thing. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll have to ping those guys that help and ask them exactly what's going on with that. If you see my point. If it's tomorrow, sure. 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Monday night is tomorrow night. That's not tonight. And I don't think they're looking at Monday's trade for this. I realize that any trades put on now is for Monday's trade. And maybe that's it. But I need to know that. So, yeah, let's see what happens. There's going to be nothing. I'm looking forward to nothing. We had the initial balance low formed first, right here, until just before the opening range was set, 3 minutes, 2.5, 4.5, 3.5, and we had this deal thanks to the Tweets are us over here. So all of a sudden, the opening high was formed first, and then the opening range low. So that puts us in this changes configuration from here, formed first, to here, formed first. Saying then that we should have 100% breakout that the initial balance low breaks out, assuming, and another thing is this ending zone, which I can show you here. Initial balance high, initial balance low, opening range. And you see the closing candle of the zone, the green guy back here is the 1 hour. So this is the closing price of the first 1 hour. And that is between the 25, 0 to 25, 25 to 50 closing zone, ending zone. You change those percentage are assigned starting opposite the first level formed. So if the opening range, the opening range is formed, highs formed first, start 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 55 to 75, 75 to 100. Had this not happened and the opening range low was formed first, it would be 0 to 25, 25 to 50. That's simple. There's the closing price. So this ending zone is 25 to 50%. And that is put in right over here in the custom value. And if you want to see the text for that, how they explain it, there you go. So it's Mondays, by wick, first hour, any size, 5 minutes, there you go. So there should be a 100% probability that we take out the low. There's a 0% probability there. Low formed first. 2. High formed first. There's only a frequency of 2, huh? So, that's not exactly a lot of occurrences to base the data on. That's the problem. That's a big problem. That's not statistically significant. That's an issue. Let's look back at five years and see what the hell happened. Maybe we've got some more instances. I don't know. Now, in my IRT backtesting, I always look at, I can't sort by days, so, but I do at least 100, usually 500 days, but I can't filter by days of the week. And let me, point out something that's obvious, maybe, or maybe not. There's only 52 Wednesdays in a week, roughly. Okay, so if you were looking at a year and you were looking at Wednesday or Monday, different, you could only have a maximum of 52 occurrences, which is not really exactly statistically significant, I don't think, but I need to look into that more. So here we have 5 years back. What do we have for occurrences? Well, we have 39 times the high was formed first. Only 12 times. Only 12 times in 5 years did the opening range breakout form first and it break the opening range low. Wow. And it's a dead heat with the opening range high right here. 50-50. Coin toss. Wow. This is... I'm going to shut this thing off right here so that I don't make the fatal mistake like I did on Friday and accidentally clicking this frickin' window over here. And I'll probably do the same thing for this one just because I don't want to step on my, my junk. Okay, now it's saved. Clicky, clicky, clicky over here, no problem. Well, I said that, but let's go up here and click and see if it puts in a limit order. That would piss me off. Okay, this is a stop. I'm going to right click, which would be a limit order to short or sell order. And it'll say no because this will start flashing. So good for me. Okay. This is a newer version of map. Well, so here we are. We got another 30 minutes or so, and then this thing is going to be over with, and we'll move on to the Asia one. Okay, what happened? Usually when I go fill up my water bottle, all hell breaks loose. No? All right. Well, let's see. What are we doing now? Let's use the music. I'm going to change it. This is Latin jazz. I'm going to change it to stand by here. I gotta get my click buttons going. I'm gonna get some classic blues going on. Okay. What have we got? Wow. This is interesting reading, isn't it? Well, anyway. Let's hope that well, what can we do? Nothing. So here we go. What have we got going on now? I think it's keep forgetting to do the chapter markers here on this this Sunday deal or Globex story. I would say that we're likely to not have any breakout in this Globex period. Yeah, so thanks for coming by the stream. Throw something in the chat over there. I see a lot of numbers coming and going, but I don't know. Nobody's contributing. A lot of lurking going on here, I think, which is fine. But it's really important to understand that this stream is a collaboration, right? It's not my way or the highway. This is just, I put everything I'm doing and thinking on the stream for all the world to see. My video captures everything I'm watching on my two primary trading monitors, and then my voiceover provides what I was thinking at that moment. So that's how it is combined and comprises my journal, and it's a permanent record. So there we go. But it's really been, like Anton brought the concept of the hedge, which is the hedging for the trade management, which has really been a big, I think, a big idea, great idea, and I'm working on that with replays and this doesn't make one hell of a lot of sense here, but it's encouraging for sure. The normal stream for risk neutral trading is 8 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time until 1500 each day, which is 7 hours. That's the cash market. You'll notice that I stream the entire monitor, not just the application, so you can always see any programs that I have available or open, and the system clock to the second and the date to tie back to both Bookmap and RT timelines. The purpose for all of this is to have complete transparency and accountability. And that's actually the reason that I'm doing this experimental Globex stuff now in these last week and today. I have a commitment to never take a trade off of the stream. You'll never see a recorded trade or a playback trade. They're all live, real time, recorded at the moment, at the time they happen. And so the reason I'm doing this stream is because if I saw an opportunity, I could stand here by myself, not be committed to this stream, this new stream, and if I saw an opportunity, take a trade, but then that would break my commitment. So there we are. I'm trying to get some data straightened out on IRT over here, so bear with me. Doing some, wait a minute here. Doing some data. Had to do some data repair on this, on today's. Had a big bunch of candles that I knew were wrong. There's a lot of tools you can use with IRT, that's for sure. Wow. Now look here. You could see yesterday, or this is Friday, and here we are so far. This is the full session. Remember that, in case you're not clear of what window I have open or what, whichever, in the header of each window of IRT or pane is the instrument, the periodicity or the chart type, the periodicity, and the session. This is the MQ 48 tick Renko chart, and RTH or the full session are 1700 to 1600. Up here is the minis, 12 tick Renko, and this is the micro tab. The only window that I don't change from mini to micro is the market profile. I do change from RTH to full session, etc., but I don't see a need to change these around from micros to minis. And it's only the ES. I don't plot a market profile for the MQ. So yeah, here we are. Boo hiss boo, huh? All dressed up and no place to go. Nice day today. Kind of overcast, not too scorching hot. It was like 80 something, 84 or 5, I guess. It's 29 now. If you do centigrade, if you do I don't think that can be the case. It's about 82 F right now if you're an F'er. And 29C, 28C. I bet I got my 8.5 or something miles. Let me check. What did I actually do today? Let's see here. Okay. We're only 7.5, only 7.7 miles. What do you want? Old guy. 18,560 steps. I try to do about 3 miles or so every day or thereabouts. Today was double up. I thought it was more than that, actually. Must have been dragging. Oh, well. Oh, we're going to take the IB high here. You watch and see now. That's going to be completely opposite the data because the most probable side or, high or low level to be exceeded on a single break is opposite the first put in. So look at us go. Look at us. Where do we go? Right, come on, mouse. Wake up, dude. Get over here. We're teasing up here to the IB high, and the IB high was formed first because this spike on whatever took out the IB low. Extended the IB low from over here. So if they get it past that high, that'll tip the data on its head. And the data being over here. Why do you keep doing that? I don't know why it keeps doing that, but it's irritating. Save all. Let's save it. Oh, we're going to take the high. Look at us go. There we go. We took that IB high out right there. So this, looking back 5 years even. Well, it's a dead heat. Never mind. Never mind. So this is a dead heat in 5 years. Now let's see if Trading View is up to speed. Oh, look at us go. Yes, the IB high was broken. Just kind of handy, isn't it? I think so, anyway. I'm pretty amazed at how clever all this stuff works. Well, there you go. So there is now a statistic in the book that I will be able to go back and cross-reference to verify that says we have an instance in this time frame, this ORB range, where we had an IB high and the IB high was taken first, which was it was exactly the opposite of the issue that we had last Wednesday that Stephen and I were watching last Wednesday when it didn't. There was an IB low was formed and the IB low was taken first. But the data was saying that did not happen. Now, I'm certainly not saying that the wizards that put this thing together, which I'm sure are a clever crowd, did it wrong. I'm thinking that it has to do with my sessions. That was my first go-to deal. We'll see. And it's not instant. For example, now that we've just taken that IB high, that won't be in the data until about 2 a.m. I did confirm that with their help, their support folks. I don't know, Friday, I guess it was. I asked them when was the data refreshed. And that's fine. That's not, it's not a charting package. That's not the point of it. Well, we've got them back to settlement. And We got to... Oh, you know what happened? Oh, no. What am I talking about? Yeah. I was getting ready to say something really stupid. Yeah, the IB, I should put that marker on here, and then I can take it off later. I'll put a vertical line on here for the IB high right there at 1800s. So that is the opening range high value, and we put that in just before, and now we've extended that high to the upside. And we're going to have the Asia session start pretty quick, so I'll get rid of all these other... Well, let me take a screenshot of this just for posterity here. And I'll take all these levels off now because nobody cares anymore. Or at least I don't. Now remember the at the beginning of every session, I put on Blue Boy, and that's this boy here. And if you want to see what I'm talking about, you can see all the sessions previously. Oh, this is the weekend, so yeah, this is going to be kind of weird. There you go. There's Blue Boy for the ETH and the RTH, or RTH and ETH, whatever. So, and that's nothing more than, as you saw, a vertical line. Draw thing here. But I find it really helpful because I can glance left and know that I have the complete session so far in view. So I have a real good, firm understanding of the context in any session. Because, and it goes without saying, this is actual live data. This is now to the tick. What we'll do now in anticipation of the changeover, I need to make a couple. We know what the data is over here, no problem. We'll make a snap of that also, just in case. Okay, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the data box here for today for the Globex and fire it up for Asia. So here's Asia. And down here to the bottom it's saying no thank you dashboard. That's called the dashboard. And then we'll activate the Asia dashboard. So it will say session hasn't started yet, and it has not. And there we go. And in a little while, as this kicks on, Asia will start plotting in this gold color as it did up here, and we'll have the same story going on over here. Pretty cool, huh? Well, obviously this is a small wrinkle in the data collection process with Edgeful. The meaningful stuff happens. There's a response to my question for him from him or for him or something. But, you know, the real meat and potatoes is on the RTH session. But I certainly would like to have, like, you know, the purpose of this streaming exercise here is to determine if there's some sort of a, you know, interesting opportunities in these sessions when hopefully there wouldn't be so much news chatter and potential risk, geopolitical risk. I guess that's not right by looking at the news. So there's the opening range high formed first. There are 0 occurrences. You see right here, and there's 0 occurrences in 6 months where we formed this one. Now I will expect tomorrow, after 2 o'clock today, to open this up and there be one there. Because we just saw that happen, right? It's Monday. There was the wick, there was the place. And what happened was the opening range was formed, high was formed first, and we took out the opening range high. So I'm going to make a copy of that for my, wait a minute. See if I can get more data in here. I guess that's about all of them. Oh, wait. There should be one right over here that's June something or another. Whatever this is, 7th, right? I think I can make this, there we go. And I'm going to, this is all for potential conversation with this conversation I'm having with their tech people to try to see what the damn hell is going on here so that I can understand it. I'm not saying it's their fault whatsoever. I'm saying I want to be sure I understand it though, so I have the right data. I'm working the right data. 7402, we got back in the 74s. Oh, they're so happy. Everybody's excited. Let's all dance. We're pushing back up to that MCV POC that was living up there at the 78s. Right here. Now that's probably been planted by current trade. Let's see. No, it's still there. Oh, it's up 75.95 CDPOC. So I've got to move this up to 70. What? 75. That doesn't make any sense to me. What I'm looking at here, you see, MCV POC 75.95. With this big drawdown, I would have thought this was lower. 75.95, and price is way down here now. So this is completely wackadoodle. This was a naked one from before, I'm assuming. Well, this is interesting. Have I gotten so sleepy that I haven't? Here we go. From the 21st, there we go. This one is one I just hadn't gotten out yet. So what do we got? This is still in the 24th. MCBV POC, so it's 75.95. Wow. That's a lot. That's whatever day this is, I guess. That was 05 or something. As of 04. Okay. Wow. And I think all of these gap high, gap low, dip, are all done. I'm going to be done as far as I'm concerned with them. Because that guy took out a whole bunch of stuff Friday. Let's watch for naked volume points of control here. 75.18. Wow. These are all done. And this gap deal is done. $75.18, huh? Am I sure? $75.18 is about there. That's about right. This is a naked volume point of control 4. The for the 5th, okay. Okay. Well, so there we go. What happened over here? Oh, yes. Nobody move. There we go. Well, we're into Asia Beja. So what do we need to do? We need to wake up Asia boy here over here and go vertical line and go first print right there. So there's our Asia first print. Now let's see if what's happening over on this side. Okay, there we are. So here was our first print. Here's the ending of the Globex. Now Asia, high and low, are going to take off and see how that works out. And here we are. And now they're printing Asia Sunday right here, just on schedule. Isn't that cute? And it's forming right over there. So, okay. And none of the other strategies, these are all RTH based, so it's not applicable. Out of curiosity, what do we have for volume? Oh, look at this. 281% volume for this time of day. Yeah, that's a lot. Math is hard. Okay, so there was zippity bupkus in the Globex. Oh, you know what? I might be lying to myself. Hold on. Maybe there was exactly as the stats portray. No, it was not. Because the typical statistic is that we're going to have a pullback, say 25 and 1 to 50. Hi, Panda. And we did not have that. Never mind. Okay, what's happening now? Good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. Risk Neutral Trading, my virtual trading journal. Typically, the normal stream is 8 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time until 1500 each day. A firm commitment to take no trades off the stream. That's why I'm doing these Globex now, in case an opportunity presents. And yeah, not meant for trade or financial advice. And there's a description or a disclaimer in the description here. But it is a trade of an accurate journal of my business. So everything I see on the monitors are captured, and the voiceover here, my voice provides insight as to what I was thinking at the time. So it's a complete journal. Pretty handy. And I don't have to spend a lot of time. Hey, Magic, what's up, dude? I hope you're having a gym dandy weekend. There was right at the last minutes of the Globex, it broke out a little bit, but didn't follow any pullback. Pretty narrow range. We'll see what happens here with Asia. This is the Asia start. Here we are here. This was Globex. Here we go with Asia now. See what's up. Trying to get the data figured out. Or I'm thinking my issues here are around the opening range. I'm going to switch this to Asia. And this should bear fruit. Need to get rid of the ending zone. Back, reset that back because we don't know what it is. We're on Monday, so that's a good thing. I'm still concerned, and I want to get with the help people about the reason that I built the special sessions is because I want to be clear on the days, okay? If this is 7 o'clock to 4 p.m., or 4 a.m., which is correct, this isn't Monday yet. Now, this is Monday Monday tomorrow is tomorrow right here. So, as far as I'm concerned, data is excluding the Sunday session, unless I do this one. Now, that is Monday morning in Tokyo. So what have we got here? Without changing anything, we got 44 and 56. Big difference. That's why I think there's a problem. That's why I think there's a problem. Ooh, you want to be careful in these light, thin markets, dude. If you're trying to trade up a storm, and Trump's been all over. Where am I going? What am I doing? They've been all over. He's been tweeting up a storm since early on, since 5. They've been all, which is all, great, good. That's their job. But it doesn't help us much. They've been tweeting all over every place here about Netanyahu and, well, I don't think this, and Zelensky's been talking, and all up and down the deal there. So be careful. Yeah, be real careful about your risk. That's why I'm so hesitant. I don't even have this activated here because I'm so gun shy from Friday when I fat fingered this long over here. And here's something that happened. I don't know whether you're trading off a book map or not, but watch this carefully. Watch where my mouse is. You see the mouse is turned into a dollar sign. That means a click here. If I click left, that's going to be a long trade, and it's going to be right at the market. That's what happened to me on Friday. If I click down here, it's going to be a limit order. If I left click. If I right click up here, it's a limit order. And if I right click down here, it's a market order short. Okay, that's what that little dollar sign does, and that's why I used to keep this column off a lot. But what happened to me on Friday was I went like this. Notice that it's still a dollar sign, even though my cursor is over the price ladder, and the price ladder is highlighted. And you click that mother now, which is what I did on Friday, and there was a long order put in there immediately. So that's something to be really careful about, assuming that you're well, good for you. So that's you're doing okay then. But if you execute on book map, if you don't, never mind. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah, good for you on the longs. Yeah, really good for you. Depending on where you got on them, it's doing. Now, I didn't do this, and that's something that ought to be done. I have it scrunched up too much, but if you got long anywhere down here off that spike just before the Asia deal and it's going up, good for you. And that's great. That's great. I need to, okay, so here's the IB low so far for Asia. And the IB high is above us, so they're going to keep going with that, I suppose. So here's the first level formed as the IB low. It was the same story on Globex. And then just before the 1 hour, this happened. And took out by a few ticks the original low. So all of a sudden it went from the low being formed first and the IB high being the suspect to the IB high being formed first and the IB low, or opening range low, the suspect. As it turns out, it broke the opening range high anyway. But I'm trying to get my head around all this data. Trying to keep lend a hand of the boss here, getting her dinner ready and everything. Tomorrow's a 4:30 in the morning reveille for me, so that's going to be pretty fun. Without doubt, the biggest liquidity is at the 6s there. We got 142 contracts. So I'm still up in the air about this data deal here, these sessions. This is still, here is Asia, Globex. And here is the Asia based on this time zone. That's not good. And I think what's happening is maybe I don't have this figured out right. I don't know. Let's see if this is right. No, this is just a small Asia. Never mind. Yeah, so this should be. Oh, here's the one. Yeah, so this is Asia based on 80%, 6237, and this is Asia based on Asia. 80 stays the same. There's a little difference over here. How the hell is that possible? Can only be. It's got to do with it's got to have. Excuse me. It's got to be predicated on the time, on the session. Yeah. And they're going up. If you're still long, man, hook in and hang on. Good for you. Good for you. Trail up below those swing lows, or however you do your project, your trade management. I don't have my timeline very well done over here. I was busy looking at something else. There's the fives. As soon as it looks like we're going to get the high end, I will put the levels and then to see if we're going to get any of the normal pullback and retrace and all of that stuff. At the moment, the IB low is put in first, meaning we should have an 80% probability to take the IB high. But we do not have the zone numbers. And then I have to figure out whether I want to start looking at these from a front run story or the pullback. And I don't see much of this Asia stuff showing any pullback, you know? I mean, zero pullback here. So someone would say, well, the front run was the way to go. But in this case, the probable level to take out was down here. So, you know, what are you going to do? Who are you going to call? Jesus. Where'd it go? Got some crazy IB, naked volume points of control living down here. Look at that mess. Oof. And we got a couple up above us too that I probably don't even have on my chart. On Bookmap. Should put those in, I guess. 7606 from, yeah. 7606 from the 4th. Okay, and I'm being paged here by the Imperial Wizard. I better get out there and find out what's up. To the moon, Alice. To the moon. Now, was somebody going to start? When is somebody going to start saying, "Oh, they're squeezing them. They're squeezing them," and they might well be. Yeah, you too. Oh, good for you, man. Good for you. Yeah, I'm gonna have dinner and not gonna spend a lot of time breaking my head about this either. But I don't know about Sundays or something because I'm pooped. You know, 7.5 mile hike and I'm kind of tired. Okay, well, that was a good meal. Wow. Wasn't quite planning on the timing there, but here's some news. There's a lot of news flying right now. I was hoping that this time frame would sort of be exempt, but that's pretty much not the case. Gonna have this ORB over here in a little bit. I'm pretty sure that this is gonna be the high. I mean, at least for now. So what does this say to us? Well, oh. Says to us that I got the wrong line. There we go. Well, the opening range low was put in first, and now the high. So from the statistics point of view, that says this is formed first, so we would expect this to be the first break. That kind of makes sense. We'll be looking for the ending zone. And what does this boy have to say? That was one hell of an opening range on the Globex, wasn't it? 40 handles, I think. This is 27, so that's no slouch, but... The purpose of this stream, again, is to determine whether there's any interesting opportunities in these first couple hours. The opening range breakout for the Globex and for the Asia session. All right. So, the object of this mission, shall I repeat myself again? The normal risk neutral trading stream is from 8 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time until 1500 every trading day. That remains. This is a new Globex stream, abbreviated just to determine if there are any interesting possibilities for this opening range breakout trade around the Globex and this current now Asian Open. And the reason for the stream is I have a firm commitment of at risk neutral trading that I will take no trades off the stream. So, assuming that I would see some opportunity here, Bob's your uncle. Right now we're gonna close that stream right now. Is there an opportunity? I've got to do something here I forgot to do. So 74.23 and 95.75. Let's get over here and do this. Where did that go here? So here we go. Yeah, so here's a little calculator I did for these zones. So we've got 74.16. Let's throw that up here. And 74.09. Okay, and 74.02. And do you know what these are? Do you know where your kids are? 74.02 half. Those are the 25, 50, 25 zones as described or as tracked by the initial balance for the opening range levels for Edgeful. Now, the idea would be to have taken a long here at 50 in anticipation of the opening range high, assuming that, and it very definitely has enough legs because this is 09 and 23, right? So plenty of range there. I'm a little bit late to the party, so let's just watch because I don't chase. The am I right? 73 to 23 and 95.75. Yup. Isn't it cute? Love it when the math works out. Math is hard. I don't think 16 to 23, is that enough range for a trade? Maybe. This 50 handle was the pullback. Now this is be sure you understand that this is, I'm talking about front running the zone, the level. Oh, and I didn't do this either. Here is there's the 20. So this is the end of the IB. It's set there, and this is the 20, 50, 25, 25, 50, 25. Now, the idea being that this close to the level when the initial balance high has a high probability of being broken first, that's a relatively safe front run, right? You're talking about minutes over here. I missed this by not, because the 50 to the top is, in my opinion, worthwhile for the front run, not so much the 20. Even though this is, 8 or 9 handles, I find that a little bit less of an intriguing possibility. And I've got to get all the timing. I've got to get all this worked out. If I'm going to actually continue with this, I will have IRT push these levels across, and instead of having to do this silliness myself, I'll be sure of what's going on rather than, taking a break to go have dinner and do all this stuff. Life, I'll be sure and figure out a way to postpone life. Maybe not. And this would be the position where we'd put on a hedge. What I'm really hesitant about is that we're having a lot of news traffic, and I got a 4:30 in the morning wake up. So I don't want to be standing here, babysitting a trade. And I don't want to be in a trade, if you know what I mean. So that sounds like an excuse to me too, and it probably is. But so here we have the IB low was formed first. Yes, it was. We have an 80% probability that we'll take out the IB high first. 20% will take out the IB low for, I didn't do the zone thing. Hush my mouth. The way you do the zone, assign the zones, it's most easily witnessed over here. So here's the first level to be put in, the opening range low. Therefore, you assign the probabilities this way: 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 100. Where did we close? Where is the closing candle in this range? It's right there. So that is the 25 to 50 zone. Is that up here somewhere? That would be an interesting thing to have in this. That would be an interesting thing to have in the dashboard. I'm going to suggest that. So we're in the 25 to 50 zone. What do we do here? Well, we go to customize. We go to zones. If you want to screen snap this, that's their text for it. It's the 25 to 50. Boom. So there we go. We have a 66% probability. It came from 80 that will take the high, and a 33% that will break out the low. When the opening range low was formed first, which is the condition we have at this moment. I'm still hesitant about this deal right here. But let's see what it does. We've had a lot of news crap going on here. Trump was busy exercising his his text and his what do you call it? Social media fingers. Kind of wandered away about 1800 though, so that's one of the reasons I was thinking about this, so that I have been thinking about this, is to try to get myself away from this random risk and critical geopolitical risk environment a little bit, or isolate myself. In other words, I'm thinking about ways to mitigate risk, which is the most important thing we do. Now look at this. We got 3 times we're tapping this low right here at the 12s, which are these highs right over here. Do I think, should I have? Here's the low. Here's where I should have gotten in, down in here. At the when it retraced to 50 and came back over the top of these. Boom. Now I'm in the money. I am not, don't have a trade on, but I'm just, I'm not rear view mirror trading. I am analyzing this market with these volumes. In case you are new now, these crazy lines. This is the beginning of the Asia open, of the Asia opening range. That's the end of it. That's 1 hour. That's the opening range. Asia opening range high, opening range low. These are the percent levels within. If you want to know what that looks like in the real world, that's right here. Boom, 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 boom. Simple. And as I said, maybe I'm talking myself into this, but I have a 4:30 wake up, so I'm not in the morning, so I'm not in the mood to take this 50 on and manage a trade for, you know, remember, this statistic says any time from here on through Asia. That could be a long time. And I'm not, we're back to the 50 now, so that would be a location to get on board. But I don't know what I'm gonna do here, frankly. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna just, I want to point out something else. I have not activated the trade control panel because I don't want to be, you know, a little bit sleepy or whatever it is and accidentally get a trade on over here. That happened Friday pre-market when I was trying to resize this range, the price range, as I do so often. Somehow, watch that dollar sign. Uh-oh. Now I'm over the prices. If I click right now, that would be a long at market. And that's what happened on Friday. If it were me, I would like to have hotkey to validate this as a hot trade, a zone. You know? Something that's more user-friendly than click the padlock, pick a account, make sure this is correct. Now, any place I click over here, I'm in trouble. That's why I have it like this now, tonight. Because the purpose of this stream, it's only started last week and through this week, will be more. Here, now look at us go. Look at the 50. The bounce off the 50 is lovely, isn't it? There's 5 points so far. I mean, these are all really good data-driven trade locations. I'll show you, I can prove it. By golly, you made me mad. Now I'm going to prove it to you. Okay, let's look at the. Let's look at. This doesn't really work that well. What I was going to show you was the retracement, but to be clear, this is after the breakout. There's no version of this reporting that I know of that can give you a probability from the 50 to the breakout. That's a really good one. If someone else knows, jump in here and let me know. So we're going to be, we're past the 20 now. Yeah. And we're coming back through this is news driven crap here. This is what's going to happen. And don't forget, remember, or it's another way of saying don't forget. There's a 33% probability we're going to take the IB low, or the opening range breakout. I got IB stuff. Oh, look at this. This is somebody said something that somebody doesn't like right there. Okay, so yeah, shall we check the news? The snooze, baby. The unfortunate part about this is I don't have a little Trump indicator either. And you never know how soon something's going to get pulled in here. There's a V-shaped reversal from hell, isn't there? Wow. I would not even remotely, that's 4 ticks away from the low. Well, points. Call me a liar. Not 2. The problem with this is I don't see any. I've only got financialjuiceandinvesting.com, which is meaningless as far as any kind of a real-time thing. Let's see if Walter Bloomberg's up. Jesus Christ, what's all that? I don't want that. I want Walter. No. Oh, he is up and working. The video CEO, everyone has the opportunity to buy stocks at a cheaper price. 49 minutes ago. Trump 3 hours ago about Netanyahu. I call the shots. I call all the shots. Netanyahu doesn't call the shots. So you can imagine they're frying eggs on Netanyahu's forehead about now. Trump says Netanyahu will have no choice but to accept a deal with Iran. Ooh. My. He was a busy little boy this morning. By the way, the source that I'm looking at, unfortunately, I can't pull onto this computer because I don't do social media. But this is X, which I refuse to call X. It's Twitter. It's called Walter Bloomberg at Delta One. He's a Swiss fellow with a Bloomberg terminal. And any Bloomberg headline that comes down the pike, he posts in this Twitter account in all caps. So 4 hours ago, Trump spoke to Netanyahu. 4 hours ago, Iran's foreign ministry says ceasefire with Lebanon was an integral part of the ceasefire deal reached in April. It was, if I remember correctly. Trump says Netanyahu will have no choice but to accept a deal with Iran. 3 hours ago, Trump, I call the shots, I call all the shots. He, Netanyahu, doesn't call the shots. Wow, that's in a Financial Times interview. Oh, that's, talk about kicking or sleeping. Well, maybe it's true, but I would imagine that went down real hard with Netanyahu, unless they have an understanding that that random crazy crap is going to be put in, announced or whatever. Don't pay any attention to it, kind of thing. I don't know, for spin and all that stuff. So at the bottom of the hour here, I'm going to keep this going. We're going to take out the low. We're going to do exactly the opposite as we did in the Globex opening range breakout. We put in the high first in the opening range breakout. The higher probability is then based on that we will take out the low. And we did the opposite. In this session, we have put in the low first. Right. Oh, wrong mouse. Keep forgetting to change my buttons there. Put in the low, and look how close we are to taking the low out. All of these will be real interesting statistics for me to verify with the Edgefield data, because I noticed an anomaly last Wednesday. Let's just make sure I'm not crazy, which is always an option. There's the IB low first. IB high, double top. Ooh. There's the IB low. Are we going to take it out? Don't know. But there is, based on the closing value here, the closing price, we have a 30% probability to take the IB low. Now, here's what happened in the Globex. We started with the IB low first, the IB high. Then we extended the IB low, meaning that the IB high was first, and the likely first break was going to be the IB low, when in fact we broke the IB high. Now, I don't know what's going to happen over here, but I'm sure as hell glad I'm not long the 50. And that's a fact check. What do I need to do here? It's almost 8:30. I guess it's about time for me to go out and do the chores. I'm going to keep this running. I'll keep the music going. And I've got to do the Sunday evening things, remembering that I have a 4:30 wake up. All this would take is one Truth Social extravaganza, and they're out the bottom. I'm gonna go about my chores here, and then I'll touch base. I'm not sure which is easier to follow when I'm not here. This is a book map, obviously. This is the opening of the Asia opening range breakout. This is the end of that first 1 hour. This is the high. This is the low. These are the percentage, percentages. The most probable break would be the high because it's formed again second. But as I just pointed out, we already reversed that order tonight. Now, I don't know whether it's easier to follow there, maybe. And you can see what I was talking about here. I don't know whether this is easier to follow or not. Well, I'm gonna watch this for a couple of minutes here and see if I'll watch it till the bottom of the hour. Then I'm gonna I better get after the chores or I'm gonna get my butt kicked. I gotta get trading like Magic Trader over here. He's trading up a storm when he signed in. He's only got 6 micros left, and he's got a tight trail on him, and he's done for the day. That was about an hour ago. So, he's whooping it up. This is going to be great because I'm going to have 2 examples of of the least probable to verify the data update from Edgeville, which was an issue I had on Wednesday last week. Not an issue, but a question I had. Look at that. What do you suppose the probabilities are that we're going to take the initial balance, opening range breakout low or high? Right now we have 1 point distance to the low and a 25.75 distance to the high. Right there. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. If I was a betting man, I'd say the low myself. But, and believe me, stranger things have happened. I've seen things like this with the initial balance trade in the morning in the RTA session where they come down and do this and go smoking across the entire range and take out the other side. And that's not even unique, actually. It's happened so many times in my memory. Well, the bottom of the hour, I'm going to dust off and start doing all the exotic, really highly technical things that I need to do every evening. There we go. High below, taken out, baby. Down to the mid. Well, there you are. There you have it. So we have 2 instances of this, which I'm going to snap a Rooney over here. And over here. And then, now, this is not contrary to any kind of data because, let me point out that there is a 33% probability that we will take the IB low first break when the IB low had formed first, given this session, the MES looking back 6 months. All of these parameters are true on a Monday, and the opening range breakout ending zone is 25 to 50, which it is. All of those things are correct. So what we're going to look for here, well, there's the 1. There should be a 2 down here for, tomorrow after 2 o'clock today, assuming that this is all the way it's supposed to be. So let me just small this up a little bit and take this picture again. And this is not to pick a fight or be a butt or anything. This is for me to be able to display what I was thinking, what I was seeing, and ask the question, what was I doing wrong? Assuming that I was. Which I'm not saying anything about that today. Ooh, look at us go. Yeah, well, maybe Netanyahu came back and said, excuse me? I think I do have a say in this, and I think I just bombed the bejesus out of Tehran or whatever, I'm not sure what happened, but something did. This is not a good sign here. Okay, that's the bottom of the hour. We've had that IB out. I am gonna now get rid of all this goofiness over here because I don't need any of this. Remove. Can I remove? I don't want to remove them all. I guess I could. No, I don't want to do that. You remove them all of the historical blue boys that are out there serving with honor would be removed. And I don't want to do that. Because I like going back and seeing them, saying hi. Hey y'all, what's up? So here we have Blue Boy. That is the first print of tonight's tonight's Globex overnight session. And there you go. I've got this mother off, okay? I can pull this down now to get about it. Let's test this out on screen. Okay. I am going to, now nothing's going to happen bad because I've got this off. But what will happen is if the system senses a trade signal, this will flash to tell me, hey dummy, you don't have this turned on. So we're over here now. Now let's say up here, I want to move up to 1 point, okay? So I go like this and I go, oh well, let's go over here. Okay, let's go over here. Wait. See that flashing? This, even though my cursor is over the top of the price level, not in the data window, it thinks I'm wanting to do something. So I'm gonna shove that up for, something to do. Maybe easier to do this. See that? Wow. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is close the stream down. And I think this is as much fun as you can have. So have a great evening. Thanks for coming by. Magic, whoever. Remember, every trading day, 8 o'clock in the morning, Central Standard Time, do all the setup of software, pull the stats together, analyze the pre-market, any reports or numbers, pull the statistics for the associated prices into the column here. So we're ready for the RTH session to open, and then we trade the entire session through 1500, 7 hours. That's the basic RTH risk neutral trading schedule, and now I've added the Globex, which starts at 1700, and this will continue until I do or do not determine there's an interesting opportunities. But if there are, to maintain my commitment to never take a trade off the stream for transparency and accountability, I will continue those evening streams until I feel otherwise. So have yourself a great smoking hot rest of the Sunday night. And I got a 4:30 in the morning call, so I'm done. See you guys later. Thanks a lot for coming by. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you're just hanging out. That's always cool. And I'd be on.